welcome to the St Mihiel American Cemetery. Mike Coons, I'm the cemetery superintendent. Just want to make a small opening statement here. Just want to let everyone know that it's an honor for Nadia and I to be able to do this today for the Spriggs family. One of the things I don't know if we should say this, but we don't get very many visits here to the cemetery. But when we do, we like to make sure that your visit here to this magnificent monument is something that you can take back with you and cherish this one visit. I'd just like to start off and tell you a little something about ABMC. ABMC was established by Congress in 1923 to commemorate the service of America's armed forces where they have served since our entry into the First World War. We do this primarily through 24 American military cemeteries and 15 monuments, 25 monuments in 15 different countries. At the end of the war, at the end of World War I, over 60% of the soldiers were returned back home to the United States at the request of their families. One such soldier was Lieutenant Mahlon Wallace. And we are honored here today to have his grandniece, Ms. Katie Spriggs, who will make a small donation to the cemetery in his honor. With that, I'd like to have Mr. Michael Spriggs come up and make a few remarks.
Thank you.
Today we're here to celebrate the life of Katie's great-uncle, Mahlon Dey Wallace, who died in the Battle of St Mihiel in the very final months of the war. Mahlon was born in Texas, and he joined up when he was at university. He was a medical student, and he then joined what was called the Rainbow Division, so called because unusually it was formed of men from all over the US rather than particular regions. Anyway, he trained in New York State and was shipped across in 1917 to France, billeted at St Mihiel. And the Battle of St Mihiel was one of the final and decisive encounter of World War I. On the night of September the 12th, he and his platoon went into action. And that was his first taste of combat. And unfortunately, tragically, he was killed on that very first day. He was leading his platoon against a very heavy artillery barrage, and he was pierced by a piece of shrapnel and was mortally wounded. However, he still managed to pinpoint his position and send a runner back to the command post to confirm that the attack was still progressing. He was buried initially at Pan, a village about 4 miles from here. And as Michael's pointed out, the families of the bereaved after the war had the choice of a passage to France to view the site where he fell, or to have his remains repatriated. And the family chose the latter. He's now buried in a cemetery, not a military cemetery, in Houston, Texas. We have learned quite a lot about Mahlon Wallace through our researches since the demise of Katie's grandmother, who died at the princely age of 106 just 5 years ago. And Katie inherited Mahlon's personal effects from that engagement, which we are now proud to present to the to the cemetery. And what was I going to say about? I just feel I'm not sure how to put it, but this setting, this majestic setting, would I believe have been a far better and a far more moving final resting place for Mahlon. I'd now like to invite Bill to explain a few words about the ceremony we're going to unfurl. Are we going to do that now?
Yeah, she's going to go get the flag.
The folding of the flag for the Americans is a poignant reminder and is often carried out at each, well, it's not often, it's always carried out at each military funeral as a presentation to the family to honor the person who has given their life for the full, as they say, the full measure to preserve freedom for all of us, because freedom's not free, and Mahlon, along with these thousands of other people who have given their lives so the rest of us may enjoy the freedoms that they fought and gave their lives for. And when the flag is folded, it's done in a special way and then presented to the family. And Mahlon's flag that was presented when his remains were brought back to the United States will be folded again and then presented to the cemetery here for permanent display.
We're gonna need maybe, not everybody, but maybe 6 people. We're gonna need to
So here we have the Croix de Guerre with palm, which was awarded to Lieutenant Wallace for its conspicuous bravery in action.
oh, sorry. So we're gonna need 6 people just to Yes, Anne-Marie, you. Michael?
What we get?
We need people just to.
Yes. Okay. This is the traditional method of folding the flag. Straighten the flag to the full length and fold lengthwise once. And then it's folded lengthwise the second time to meet the open edge.
And then turn it that way.
Fourth fold represents the weaker nature of mankind, trust into God. It is to him that we turn in times of peace as well as in times of war for his divine guidance.
Yeah, just keep your hands here. Keep breathing much.
The fifth fold is a tribute to the US, for, in the words of Stephen Decatur, our country in dealing with other countries may she always be right, but it is still our country, right or wrong. The sixth fold is to where one's hearts lie. It is with one's heart that allegiance is pledged to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is a tribute to US Armed Forces, for it is through the armed forces that the US is protected, and the flag against all enemies, whether they be found within or without the boundaries of the republic. The eighth fold is a tribute to the one who entered into the valley of the shadow of death, that they might see the light of day, and to honor their mothers, for whom it flies on Mother's Day. The ninth fold is a tribute to womanhood, for it has been through their faith, love and loyalty and devotion that the character of the men and women who have made the US a great country have been molded. The 10th fold is a tribute to Father, for he too has given his sons and daughters for the defense of their country since he or she was born. The 11th fold, in the eyes of Hebrew citizens, represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon, and glorifies in their eyes the God of Abraham, Isaac and Jacob. The 12th fold, in the eyes of a Christian citizen, represents an emblem of eternity and glorifies in their eyes God the Father, the Son and the Holy Ghost. When the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, remembering Americans of their national motto, "In God we trust." we salute a brave American, Lieutenant Mahlon Dey Wallace.